How's it going, folks? Welcome to another Ranger Talk video. And today I'm chatting with Prehistoria. I'm just thank you guys so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. You guys rock.
Oh,
thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. If you want to go one by one, maybe, and let the viewers know what instrument in the band that you all play or don't play, or, you know, whatever.
All right.
I guess I'll go first. I'm Sean.
I play guitar.
Ooh, I'm Cody and I play drums. And sorry for Sean's echo. He knows not what he does.
I'm Ian. I play bass.
And I'm Alonzo Zoe, and I'm the vocalist for Prehistoria.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. It's truly a pleasure to be chatting with you all. So, you know, maybe we can go back in time a little bit. Let me know, how did you all kind of come together and form what is now known as Prehistoria?
Well, it really started with Zephaniah, me, Ian, and Sean were in Zeph. And COVID kind of did its way with us, and we kind of, the band just kind of naturally had a hiatus, and Sean got a hold of me, and Ian was like, hey, you know, I got these 4 songs that were going to be Zeph songs, but would you like to, you know, kind of jam on those, start a new band, and we'll farm around, find some other musicians, and, you know, see where it goes. And that's basically how it started.
Cool. How do you even find musicians anymore these days, right? I don't really see those like posters up on telephone poles or anything anymore, like bassist wanted or anything like that. Is there like elite circles where you hunt for musicians now?
Not really, no. Luckily, with us 3 members that were in Zephaniah, we have a long history of touring together in previous bands from years ago, so we already knew each other. Aside from that, it was just, honestly, it was the U.S. Power Metal Connection Facebook page that got us hooked up with Alonzo. Honestly, and that was it.
Awesome. It's nice that exists and that it's so on the nose. U.S. Power Metal Facebook page. What more do you need, right?
Yeah, it worked out. And he had posted some videos on there, some cover videos. And I was kind of going through them, and he did a King Diamond cover, and I was like, yep, it's our guy right here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I see the poster in the background, right? So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, right over there. Yeah.
So that must have really struck a chord with you. It's like, oh yeah, that's my guy.
Absolutely.
And Cody, I'm sorry, it looked like you were saying something before I cut you off.
I have no idea. Continue.
It's been
Very
easy
going.
That thought.
Yeah, it's super good.
How did the band name Prehistoria come about?
Ian, you want to take that one?
I don't know. It's a name I had kind of rolling around in my head for several years, and then just finally had a band to put it to. It just sounds like a cool name. Lots of possibilities thematically, lyrically, everything like that. So we just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah, perfect. So it's kind of like you know, the listener or whomever makes of it what they will kind of thing.
Pretty much. I mean, it's also just one of those, like Sean and I like history, but it's one of those things you just like take any word and put like IA on the end, you have an instant metal band name. So
Yeah, you
We're
know,
giving
it
away
kinda
our
works
secret.
perfect. What's that, Alonzo?
We're giving away his secret how to put band's names together.
Yeah, I know, right? People pay good money for this kind of knowledge.
Yeah, dude. Don't do that.
Wait, we can make money off this?
No money will be made off this video, I'll tell you that. But Ian, I think you need to start your own like YouTube channel, how to come up with band names or something like that.
oh, I could.
Yeah, awesome. But you know, it's kind of cool. I like how you said it's got kind of like an old, like kind of almost like history kind of sound with like the Prehistoria. And it made me think because, you know, when I was listening to y'all's EP, Cursed Lands, which by the way, everybody came out earlier this year. It's got 4 tracks on there, all of which are solid, I must say. So check it out. But it has kind of like a classic heavy metal, power metal kind of vibe to it. You know, not too overly done where it's like you just immediately think Iron Maiden or something like that, but it has that kind of sound. So yeah, I think that's really cool with the band name. It almost sounds like it could have been like an 80s or 90s kind of heavy metal band name too, Prehistoria. So
Yeah, the sound is definitely a conscious decision because we wanted to take it back. It seems like music is moving more towards like this orchestral, almost ambience. Like the music kind of gets lost. It's more of a vocal performance. And we're like, nah, we want to be pissed off and rage like it's 1997. And, you know, my dad doesn't understand that Metallica sucks now. And we're gonna rock it anyway. Why'd they cut their hair? That sucks.
yeah, that's hilarious. Man, yeah, that takes me back 97. Lord have mercy. The bands that I listened to then and that if I hear them now, I'm just like, man, that you've had a good run. Just call it a day. I don't know if it's just I liked them before because of nostalgia or something, and now it's just like they're garbage. I really don't know what it is, but
That's a little bit of both.
both. So yeah, so it was super cool. You know, I wasn't sure what to expect. Like you said, a lot of bands these days, whether it be the symphonic metal or just more of kind of like there's a modern power metal kind of style rolling in these days. Which, you know, I like all styles, but yeah, I noticed the classic kind of approach you guys had. I was going to ask you about that. So it was a conscious decision where you didn't really want like orchestrations and symphonic elements and stuff. You want it to be much more just like guitar driven and you know, that kind of style.
Well, it's not so much that we were denying symphonic influence. I mean, there's a lot of new symphonic power metal bands that are great,
Mhm.
but we all have a broad range of influence. I mean, a lot of us came from like black metal, death metal backgrounds as well. So it's not like it was purely power metal for us, and we're trying to bring a little bit of them influences in everywhere. And we might do some symphonic stuff in the future, but I think all of us really just missed hearing that riff that you would listen to, and you know what I mean, when you put on an old Halloween album, you just hear a riff, and that just takes over. A little bit of that might be missing in modern power metal a little bit, so that's kind of where we're coming from, you know.
Yeah, it has a lot of drive to it. Like you said, with the guitar riffs, you know, it kind of really takes you through the song. You're not kind of lost in, like you said, an ambient sort of sound. You're kind of riding through the song on the guitar riffs.
Yeah, it's just kind of a reflection of what I think we all grew up on. I mean, I know for me and Cody, like we were both like in our youth, like Slayer was a big band for us, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of power metal, early heavy metal came out of that thrash movement a little bit as well. So we try not to think about it too much. Just do what comes natural. And if the song tells us that a black metal part here sounds cool, or a death metal part or whatever, just then do it, you know.
Yeah, so how does the songwriting process kind of work with you guys? I know you say you don't necessarily just sit down, or do you just really sit down and say, yeah, this is like the sound that I want, and then you kind of just put it on paper and then it becomes a song? Or is it more of like a natural thing, everyone kind of chiming in, or how does that work? Or do you have is there a band dictator that's kind of dictates everything?
No, we're very much a democracy when it comes to that. I mean, I usually start with an initial demo of an idea, and then it goes to everyone, and they chop it up, tell me if it sucks, which they've told me too many times, unfortunately, that it sucks, and I need to rewrite more, and just write new demos, and it just goes back and forth like that. I mean, everyone gets a say, you know. So
Really cool. So it kind of starts with you writing some demos, and then Cody and Ian, you guys kind of throw in your 2 cents or add your parts, or you just kind of jam together.
On the songs on the EP, it was that way because they were originally written for our previous band, Zephaniah.
Right.
And we were in the studio recording the third album when the band kind of fell apart. So we were stuck with these 4 songs, and when we decided to keep jamming together, we used them 4 songs as our EP. And during this time, we were writing a bunch of other material. So on the full length, which we're working on now, I mean, Cody has some songs on there. Everyone's going to have. Me and Max are working on a new song, which is the other guitar player that's not here now. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's me at all. It's truly a band effort.
Awesome. Alonzo, I want to ask you, how did you approach bringing your vocal style to the band? You know, when you heard the music or however that worked out.
I was going to mention, I was going to wait on that on the question, the prior question that you were talking about, you know, what the music sounds like, and you, you know, we call it power metal. When you take the vocals out and you listen, you can hear all sorts of influences. You can hear death. You can hear dissection. You can hear fucking death. All sorts of like blast beats and death metal and black metal and all these styles of metal. I think that I added, my vocalist would added that little pinch of power. This is all straight up metal music, and you could have sung death metal to it. This could be Amon Amarth's fucking song, for all I know. I'm just saying it has that potential to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Why? Because the range of influences are all over the place, all over the spectrum. And when I heard it, it just like, dude, it was like I felt that I found something I've been looking for like ever. I've formed bands before, you know, I've done this and that and looking for musicians, and I never found anybody that would, you know, do the same thing that I'm doing with this guy. This guy gave me the songs, and Sean, what was it? The same day I'm sending you videos of some like melodies that I came out the same fucking day.
Wow.
I wrote the lyrics and the melodies for this EP from scratch in 4 days.
Wow.
In 4 days with all melodies and everything. I was recording with this setting, with my headphones, just wireless on Reaper on the computer. It sounded like ass, but the idea was there. the idea was there, you know. I sent the lyrics. We went through some of the revisions and the lyrics and all that, and it all sounded good. And then what I did, they liked, and then I came to my home studio, and I did the demo in a weekend, and I sent them over to them, and they said, "Yeah, we love it."
Wow.
Now you gotta come here to Indianapolis to do it again in 3 days.
Yeah, it was awesome because
it was quick too. It was fast. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, don't speak over the vocals
Question.
now.
Question. Yes. Yeah. Question. Back in the back.
What I like about Alonzo is that you know, we found his covers and stuff, and Sean and I were just like, you know, he did a King Diamond cover, but then he also did a Lost Horizon cover. We should probably shoot this guy a message and, you know, see like how much he wants to, like, you know, do vocals on the EP or something. And he immediately wrote us back, was like, I don't want to I don't want to pay. I want to join the band. And we're like, oh.
Why is he using an accent? I don't understand. Why is he using an accent?
Yeah,
I have no idea. You read the accent on my text? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy's a genius.
Canceled.
I got confused. I wasn't sure who was speaking anymore. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome that you know, worked out the way it did. And you know, it's interesting how you say the song was almost like, or the music was kind of a blank canvas, and it was just waiting for the vocals to kind of determine, I guess, which way the songs would go. And so when you guys heard his vocals, were you like, cool, yeah, let's do this power metal, or were you like, is this the route we want to go, or, you know, or is that what you kind of had in mind to begin with?
Honestly, I was at Sean's house because he lives in Indy and I live here in Pittsburgh. And I was at Sean's when Alonzo was sending us those demos live. And, you know, we'd get a message be like, hey, there's another one in the Dropbox or whatever. And so me and Sean would listen to it in his kitchen and be like, we're like pounding beers, being like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. This is like a warm bath. Nice.
And it still sounded good the next day after you.
It did.
Yeah, which that's the important thing.
Yeah, for one
we
flush
sobered
out.
up, we're like, we make the right choice. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, this is.
We already told him we loved it.
That would have been a bummer if the next day you already were like, this
Yeah.
sounded a little different the day before. Oh man, Ian. So when did you really come on board here?
Well, I've been one of the OG members, as the kids would say. So I started with Zephaniah back in like 2007 or something. It's like
Okay.
way back when. So yeah, I've played with Cody for many years, and Zeph, and in other bands, and then with Sean also for like several years. So I've been
And how
around.
did you feel when you first kind of heard the vocals and everything coming together?
Oh, well, I mean, it was great. I don't say Alonso's so thorough when he demos stuff, and so quick to make changes that it was kind of too fast for us to process at some points. So Alonso's very excitable.
Yeah. Yeah. When I see things shine, I immediately, dude, I'm like that with work too. You know, when Sean was talking about it, saying, you know, how everybody contribute to, you know, it's a band effort and all that stuff. On the EP, there were a little changes also that I was like, you know what, in this part, you kind of need this, we need this. There were several parts that had vocals, and they said, you know what, you need to take them out. In time, there was a section right before the third verse. They have vocals in it, and we took that out and just to let it breathe. And he plays so well, you know. But to my point is that all the songs that he has, almost not even, some of them not even finished, you know, they all have demos. They all have vocals on them. I'm already done. I was done with that like August.
Wow.
Last year.
Yeah. It's
Not this year. It was last year. Yeah.
it's nice because Alonso's in the studio for 2 days, 1.5 days.
Yeah,
We were able to fully track like leads and backing vocals for all 4 of those tunes, just because everything was kind of done up front. So just little minor changes in the studio, some phrasing updates, things like that. But
It's still crazy, man. It's like 30 hours of recording.
Ooh.
yeah, we were like biting our teeth the whole time thinking, there's no way this guy's not going to blow his voice out, but he never did.
Wow. Wow, a true professional there.
Sean, Ian, and I were exhausted by the time he was done with vocals, and I think he was still ready for more.
You know, and like I said, you know, when they sent me the music, I just felt that way. I felt, you know, these are the guys for me. The professionalism, the kind of music that they play, you know, the intelligence of the music is all there. It's all there. So this guy's pushed me to become what this turned out to be.
Yeah, you know, when we knew that me, Ian, and Cody were on the same page. I mean, we had been playing in Zephaniah together for years at that point. But it's hard, especially with vocals. I mean, it's not like there's power metal vocalists around every corner, especially in the Midwest of the United States, you know.
Yeah.
So when I first had a conversation with Alonso, I think we talked about like Stradivarius and we talked about death, like in the same sentence. And it's like, yeah, this guy gets it. You know, he gets it. It's about more than just trying to be, I don't know, it's about, there's a wide range of influences, you know, and he understood immediately. You know, so if we reference like a Halloween track or something like that, he's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it just works.
Awesome. Well, it's super cool that everything kind of came together so well with regards to that. Have you guys had a chance to play live or anything like that yet?
we just did what was that, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's on YouTube, right?
Yep, there's some clips on YouTube. So we played 2 shows.
Legions of Metal.
Yep, Legions of Metal Fest up in Chicago. And then we played our friends down in Lafayette, Indiana. So runs called the Doom Room. That was a lot
Shout
of
out
Shows
fun.
in one
Matt,
weekend.
always giving us a great show.
Mhm.
Man, I think he slapped together like us and Wolf Tooth and some other killer
Yeah.
band in like a couple weeks. It was great.
Yeah. We've only done 2 shows so far. I mean, there's a pretty big distance. I mean, if you think Alonzo lives in Minnesota and Cody lives in Pittsburgh, that's a pretty, that's pretty far. So doing one-offs and such is not really an option for us. We can't just play a random bar on a Friday night. So,
Yeah.
which is nice because we can kind of put the shows through a filter and make sure, that they're going to be worth it for everyone. But we've done 2 shows so far. We will do more before the year's out and continue working on the full length is pretty much written at this point. Just kind of doing some pre-production, messing with demos and whatnot. So.
Wow, so you guys really just rolled right into that pretty quickly, huh? After the EP, you just kind of kept on chugging along.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, most of this, there was a pretty good gap where when Zephaniah was kind of, half the members of Zephaniah kind of moved away in the middle of COVID, and we were kind of at a standstill with the band and we didn't know what was happening. So I had started working on a bunch of new music.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff I kind of had a head start in writing anyways. So yeah, a lot of the material was from that. And then now that everyone else has come on board, we've just kept refining it. So yeah, I mean, definitely more shows will be coming up. We're looking at shows in the fall, August, September. So
Sweet. Awesome. So on the upcoming full length that you guys are working on currently, can we expect a similar sound to the EP, or is there going to be a little bit of changes to that sound, or what can we kind of expect?
I know the most thing we get dogged about is the drum sound on the EP, so we're gonna fix that. I'm actually my buddy Mike Heller plays drums for Fear Factory, Malignancy, Raven, a million other bands.
Wow.
I've known him for years. Great buddy of mine. I'm actually gonna fly out to LA and track the drums in his studio. So the drums should sound delicious, I hope, and that will ease the confusion that I'm not a drum machine. I'm in fact, those are real drums.
Yeah.
Drums are hard to mix, damn it.
There are videos to prove that.
Wow.
It is all him.
Yeah, the new stuff I'm really stoked about. We debuted a couple new songs in Chicago and Lafayette, and they felt like they hit really hard, and it shows off that whole dichotomy of like there are no rules. If like you said, if a black metal part presents itself, let's burn a church, let's party. If a death metal, if a death part presents itself, hail to Chuck. Represent the OG.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many elements. I mean, there's a song that I wrote completely on guitar that'll be on there that's completely different. There's a prog song that comes out of nowhere that's just kind of like, we were feeling like we wanted to show you guys that we know music theory too. Why not? Hey.
Yeah, I think no rules is the best way to go, because then you can just play with it.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. Just play with it.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly some people might not dig that. We might take some flack for it, but at the end of the day, putting limitations on song. If you go into a band or a songwriting session, or if I sit down with my guitar and I think, okay, I have to write a power metal song, and it has to follow this formula, like I've defeated the purpose of music already before I've even started. It's like we play and whatever comes out comes out. And the beauty of it is 5 individuals that have different influences or are hearing something. If I write a riff and I'm hearing Riot or whatever, and then I send it to Cody and he hears something completely different. So he puts that flavor into it. And then by the time it goes through Ian and Max and then it filters through Alonzo, I mean, who the hell knows what it's going to sound like, Prehistoria, I guess that's what it's going to sound like.
Yeah, that's really cool. Alonso, I was going to ask you, what's your influences for the lyrics? Or inspiration for the lyrics, I guess I should say.
Inspirations for the lyrics. Well, I have 4 videos. We're gonna actually post them online, but we'll talk about it right now. Yeah, Sean came out with the idea. It's like, what, there were 2 interviews that we did during the whole COVID, when COVID was pretty hard in there, that asked the same question in regards to the lyrics. So I was like, you know what? Sean said, why don't you just make a video? Make 4 videos, 4 different videos talking about the lyrics and just call it something. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. So I have those 4 videos. I got to revisit them and then see, if they sound all right, and then just upload them. But
okay.
Most of it is, I go through, when I write, I usually use personal experiences, and just fantasy. Those 2 things. That's basically what I go through, and it's basically that realm, If we talk about the opening track, Time is not much of an experience, but in a way, it sort of is. It's just because I'm in a situation right now where my daughter lives away from home, in a different country. So to me, time is precious. So I don't got time to waste. So I'm trying to convey that idea that, it's just in my situations like this, but for other people, time is also precious. And, so you need to do the most that you can with your time. So basically that's the premise of the whole song, Time. Castles is a personal experience that I had to go through for several years, my second marriage. Then Purgatorio is also a different take on what would Purgatorio be like if you were to be walking right now and you were just in that place. What that look like to you? And that's the story of what I think it looks like. And Cursed Lands is also fantasy, completely fantasy. It's just something that Sean and I Sean throws an idea to me and said, you know what, this is what I hear, or this is what I had kind of like. He sent me some very, sorry to share this, bad sing demo, and I took some of the lyrics of the things. I didn't take the singing. I didn't take the singing because, and now it's funny because now when I hear this song without my vocals in it to practice, I somewhat, those lyrics come and all that singing comes slipping through it. It sounds awful. But the lyrics, but I took the essence of the actual lyrics that he put in there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play with this. So with 4 lines that he sent me, I just expanded and it just created this whole Cursed Lands. And then I looked at the artwork and I'm like, that looks exactly like it. And there's 4, 5 people there. That's just us. What the hell? So I just went with it. Fantasy. I like fantasy because you can do whatever you want, and go anywhere. And that is the power metal part that you put into it. And some of the vocals. Now, vocally, if my biggest influence is Bruce Dickinson for everything that he is as a person, as a singer, as a human being. But on stage, there's nobody that can match him. Nobody. And I'll fight you on that. Nobody. There's nobody more alive than he is. You never leave a Maiden show going like, man, that sucked. Never. Never, because you're gonna get your money's worth and you're gonna see a fantastic singer, a performer. I'm not the most talented singer. I had to work my way through a lot of bands, through a lot of processes, but I'm a very entertaining guy. I'm a performer. That's what I follow that. My performance will override any of my bad singing, for real, any day. And I'm talking about live. I'm an entertainer. I like to entertain people. Yeah, definitely. So you have Dickinson, and then for the technique and all that, you got Michael Kiske, you got Hansi Kirsch, Andy Darius, Daniel Heyman, legends, and Geoff Tate and legends. Tobias Sammet, dude. It's even Stu Block to this day. To this day, what he did as of late, whatever he did with the last album that he did with Ice Earth, it's unbelievable, unreal. His singing is unreal, and it's something that I kind of sound like him a little bit in some aspects. So why not? And then I try to throw some, I don't know, maybe some Matt Barlow in there and see how would that sound in some of the aspects of the song. And it works, and that's what I mean by not shaping ourselves or try to put ourselves in a box and say we are a power metal band. No, we're not. You take the vocals out and we can go anywhere we want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool how you guys approach that. And, you know, it's, you don't confine yourselves to a particular box or something. It's like the essence is always going to be there of Prehistoria, but the songs aren't just always going to sound the same. They're going to be, you're going to experiment with them and whatnot. You got to get some avant-garde stuff going on here too.
With that, we're not dating our music at all. The way that we're doing it, we're not following that formula like Sean says. We're just going wide.
Yeah. So since you released the EP, it was in January, was it not? The EP,
Yep.
I believe. How has the response been since then? How are you guys feeling about it at this point now that it's been almost 6 months, I guess?
I think we're feeling great about it. I mean, we all kind of came from a band that already had years of 2 albums and like years of shows and touring and stuff rolling.
Yeah.
And so you had a foundation to build on. And so we kind of found ourselves in a situation to where we're like pretty experienced. We've all done a lot of touring. You know, me and Cody have both done touring worldwide at this point in various other bands we've played in and stuff. So we kind of found ourselves with like a project that we really, really loved and we felt strongly about, but we were starting from a blank canvas. So, and social media and whatnot moves so quickly. We're kind of becoming old men at this point. So we're like, how do we promote ourselves like this, you know? But it's been a great response. I think everyone's done a great job. We've had really great responses. Everyone seems to dig what we do. We've actually had quite a few comments about the fact that we're not overly orchestrated, kind of breaking the current power metal formula a little bit, which is nice for us to hear, you know. But yeah. I've been stoked. I've been totally stoked on the response, totally, and I'm sure the rest of the guys have too.
Yeah, I think the thing I was the most concerned about was like I haven't started a new band since I was like 16. Like I've always just kind of rode the coattails of whatever band I was kind of leaping into. So like when we decided to, you know, like, hey, we're gonna do this new band, I was just like, well, how the hell do you do that? Like, what do I gotta do? You know, like I think of social media. Is MySpace still around? Like, what the hell? Right. Tom's still my #1 friend.
Tom.
There's truth behind that though, because like when you start playing, and I don't know, Power Metal Ranger, if you're in any bands or if you sing or play any instruments or anything, but once you start playing in like the local music scene and then the regional music scene expanding out, at a certain point, it's like you never start new bands. You're in a band when you're a kid, and then you make connections and you just kind of start jumping around. And some bands fall apart and you get together with, but you're not finding new members. The scene is small. So everything just kind of builds over time, you know, and you could like look at yourself and be like, well, I've kind of been playing with the same group of guys for like 10, 15 years now. 4 different band names maybe, but it's just the scene is small, you know, so trying to start something completely fresh was intimidating for all of us, but it's been very rewarding.
Yeah, it's worked out kind of surprisingly well. A lot of times when you release a new album or EP or whatever, you always have like one asshole who has something shitty to say about it. We've, for the most part, kind of avoided that so far, which feels really nice.
Awesome, except all the dirt bags taking on Cody's drumming, right? Saying it's a machine.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, when you were talking about that, I was like, that thought never crossed my mind. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, I think it's funny that people were, but you know, it is what it is. I reckon.
Well, I mean, that was just more of a tracking issue. You know what I mean? We were tracking things a certain way for a certain sound when we were initially going to release this under Zephaniah. And then we literally lost a band over these 4 songs and COVID and everything. So we're trying to reformulate, find new members, start a new band. Now we have songs that were written with also this other guitar player and other vocalist in mind. So now we have to rearrange songs that are already written. And how do we do that? We have to make big edits. And it's complex thing. So Cody took a lot of undue shit because of that, because now it's like you have production geared towards one band, and now you have to like stop and turn it 90 degrees another, you know what I mean, and completely change it. And I don't know, it sucked. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun for us to deal with either, you know. Trying to save these songs and save the band, it was hard. And Cody came in, and Mike Heller, you know, his buddy plays drums in Fear Factory and Raven and whatnot, did a phenomenal job of saving these tracks. I mean, he worked his ass off for something. We didn't have DI tracks for guitars. We didn't have the drum sounds like we wanted. And if you're not a recording engineer nerd, you won't know what I'm talking about, but it was not an ideal situation.
Wow.
No.
Well, I mean, look at him. His hair's still blowing in the wind. He's moving. He's moving forward. He's doing good. Look at that. Wow.
I can't
Yeah, I
believe
mean,
it's not.
he was contacting me. We were like, every day we were talking to each other on the phone, like, oh, we got to fix this drum roll, this tom, something feels weird here, something feels weird. I mean, it was a pain. Cody put more time and effort into just mixing these 4 songs than I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
I almost fired my friend several times because I was so frustrated with mixing these 4 songs. But he refused to let me fire him, which was good because they came out well. He basically told me, Cody, shut up. I'm the only chance you have in saving this.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, toot your own horn, Michael.
Well, that's some
But
life
yeah.
advice right there. I think for everybody who is on the verge, their boss comes to fire you, just tell them to shut up and go away.
Yeah, you can't fire me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He really did. It was the most beta I've ever felt in my life. Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of
Well,
roaming
plus,
out.
we're also in a situation to where we're, at this point, even though it doesn't feel like it to us, a lot of us might be what is considered a lot more old school metal at this point. And so we're trying to battle, like, we want natural drum sounds. We don't want things to sound replaced, but they still need to sound good, you know, and we're trying to record live amps, which is not something that's really done these days. Most people just record clean and DI with a Fractal or a Kemper or whatever. So we were kind of in an uphill battle, you know. It might not sound as polished and as great as whatever new power metal thing is out there or gent thing is out there, but fuck it, we were happy with it. So suck a dick. We like it.
Yeah, that
right.
gent stuff is really taken over here these days, isn't it? Bizarre. Yeah, I mean, awesome, guys. Really, the EP is stellar. I love the sound. I for one am looking very much forward to the full length that you guys are currently working on. Yeah, it's just so cool to hear about how all this stuff is just kind of comes together, and how you don't really just focus on making yourself a certain way. You just kind of let it all naturally evolve as it's going to. And yeah, I mean, much respect for all that. And yeah, any hopes for the future and any short/long-term goals? You know, I know you got the full-length album coming, or are you guys kind of just keeping focused on the here and now, or do you have any big plans on where you'd like to end up with the band, I guess?
In Europe.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah, Wacken is a bucket list for me.
There you go.
At this
I would
point,
love to run that stage from left to right.
Are you one of those frontmen that's just literally running back and forth across the whole stage?
That is it for me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that everybody is stoked, you know, with the idea of releasing the album, but also trying to see maybe a label will release it, and we'll see where that takes us. You know, a label releases your album, and then a lot of window of opportunities show up. You know, so maybe Europe is not something that far away.
Yeah, I mean, Fellowship just got signed to a label, so yeah, maybe you guys are next. You know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sweet.
It would be.
we're looking at you, Napalm.
Yeah, not only Napalm, but there's a lot of other ones, you know.
Yeah, no, I bet you every single Napalm executive is going to watch this video. So there, it's in the bag. Why would
Yes,
they
they-
not watch this? So no worries.
No,
It'll be sweet. It'll be sweet.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, we don't really have
anytime.
any, there's nothing necessarily in our sights. I mean, we're just going to keep working on the full length, try to get it released, and keep doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Trying to make music and have a good time together, and take any cool opportunity that, you know, comes up in the future. So
Awesome, awesome. Ian, and anything you want to add?
Not really. Just
Good.
keep on keeping on.
Yeah,
That's it.
fair enough, my
Keep
man.
on keeping on from my studios. Yeah, come on, brother. All
Awesome.
right.
Well, thank you guys again, truly so much for chatting with me. It's been a blast. I would definitely wish you all the best and congrats on the EP. And like I said, I, for one, am looking very much forward to the full length. But everybody out there, if you haven't listened to the single Time or any of the other songs off the EP yet, go on and do that. I'm going to put all of the Prehistoria social media links and all that kind of stuff in the description down below, so you can all just go have a ball with that. And I guess stay tuned, because they're working on something. They're working on a full length and some tours here in the US. So yeah, anywho, check out the links in the description below. Thank you guys again so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure. And that's what I got for y'all out there today. I'll catch you all next time. Ranger, out.
Take it easy.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, sir.